All right, guys, back here with Brian Edwards, and we're going to touch on the Florida Utah game for Thursday night. Of course, the opener ready to go for both teams, and I know Brian is ready to kick this thing off in week one. Brian, I know you got a couple things. We talked briefly about the Florida Utah game in recent weeks, just kind of where things were with Cam Rising and all that. But now we're going to unleash your official bets on looking at what you like in this game, what you bet on, plus a couple I know player props that you really like in this one as well.
Yeah, so I like we have discussed in recent weeks. I did take under 47 a few weeks ago. It's down to 44 right now. I can't recommend it at 44. Now, if I had to pick it, gun to my head, either one way or the other, I'd probably still go under. But I feel good about 47. You know, a 3 point difference. That's a pretty good amount. All right. And by the way, the under went 4-3 last week. So the new rule, didn't have that big of an impact. I didn't even break down all the how many snaps each team had and compare it to last year and all that. I wanted to get a little more data before doing so. But I'm thinking Utah wins a 24-17 type game. But with Keith and Rising out, Florida definitely has a chance. And as I've mentioned, Napier is good as an underdog. 17-5-1 against the spread in 23 career games as a head coach with 10 outright wins as well. But I got Utah -4 a couple of days ago. Tuesday it was six or 6.5 at most books, and then Wednesday it moved down. And it didn't move down anymore when Pete Thamel of ESPN came out with the report that kind of solidified what the line movement had been telling us. And I think we all had our doubts about whether Rising was going to play and how effective he would be. I will still say though, their Pac-12 schedule does not start till September 23rd. And I think that Rising and Keith A will be ready by then. So even though Utah plays at Washington and at USC, I still think they're worth a shot at plus 550 to win the conference. Just a little baby
Yeah.
play. I mean, they have won it in back-to-back years, and even if they lose those two games, I mean, that those top six are probably going to beat each other up. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's a two-loss team that makes the Pac-12 championship game. In fact, I kind of expect that. So yeah, I have a little bit on Utah plus 550 to win the Pac-12. I have a little bit on Utah -4 tonight. It's 4.5 or 5 now, or actually it's 5 pretty much everywhere. There's 1 4.5 at Bet Online offshore. So I'm calling it 24-17 is what I'm thinking for Utah. As for, or let me give you a little more reasoning on that. So I just think Utah's better in the trenches. Not that Phil Steele's national unit rankings are the end all be all, but he does have Utah's O line ranked 5th, their D line ranked 10th, whereas Florida O line is ranked 42nd, their D line's ranked 55th. And since that ranking, they lost Justice Boone, a likely starter at defensive end, to a season ending injury. And when Florida sent out the depth chart, which was, I believe, Monday,
Yeah.
it had Kingsley. I can't stand pronouncing his last name because I don't think I get it right. But Kingsley, you
I've tried to.
yeah, help me out, man. Or no, I'm not
I
gonna make you do it. They
don't make
know,
me do it. I've
yeah,
said it right once, and like I'm gonna leave it at that. So
yeah.
Igakwen, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, I think you did nail it. I
I
think it
think
is
that's it.
Igakwen. So he was listed questionable on Monday, and he started 26 games in a row. If he's not able to go, and I'm not saying he's definitely not. I haven't seen any update on it since then, but just a potential area of concern for the Gators. I'm also going to do one a prop bet in this game. I'm going to go over 41.5 receiving yards for Ricky Pearsall. So last year, he had a team high 661 receiving yards. He had even 65 against Oregon State when Florida couldn't do anything offensively. He had 148 against FSU, had 65 against A&M, had 49 against LSU, which would be over 41 and a half. Not like it's a big number, but it would be over 41 and a half. Had 103 against Tennessee and had 4 catches, 67 yards against Utah. And I think he's going to even be more so Florida's primary receiver this year. Last year they at least had Justin Shorter, Xavier Henderson. This year, a lot of young guys at wide receiver. And so I think Pearsall could get 10 targets tonight. So that's my prop there. And just one more prop for tonight, not on this game, but on the UCF game. I played over 54 and a half rushing yards for John Rice Plumlee. Not a big amount, just because obviously with a 35 and a half point spread at home against Kent State tonight, it's probably going to be a blowout. He'll probably get yanked pretty early. I mean, I'm betting it just counting on him to getting it before halftime. Obviously, our listeners being SEC fans, know what he did at Ole Miss several, or God, I want to say it's like 4 years ago now, but you know, was one of the top rushers in the SEC, only playing like half the season, and I feel like he had like a couple of 70-yard runs against LSU that year. That might have been 2019 when LSU won the Natty, but anyhow, over 54 and a half on Plumlee's rushing yards tonight, over 41 and a half with Pearsall, and then a little bit on Utah. I got it at 4. Hopefully you can get 4.5, maybe buy it at 4. I think at 4 is a key number, kind of like 3 and 7. But I'm okay with it at 5. And, you're on your own on the total. I got under 47. Whether you go under 44, like I said, I'm calling it 24-17. And now for the other games, I don't have an official play, but if I had to pick them, and I do in one of my contests that I'm in, I did go with UConn. Now it was 15 in my pool. It's 14 at most books. They're at home to NC State. They were really good as underdogs last year. And then in the Nebraska-Minnesota game, I did Nebraska plus 7.5 in my pool. I haven't bet it yet. And I'm not sure that I will, but Nebraska is 7-0-1 against the spread in their last 8 as a road underdog, and obviously a major head coaching upgrade with Matt Rule. And to just close it out for what's going down tonight, if you want, I've got almost 5,000 total words written with previews of all 4 games tonight at majorwager.com if any of our listeners want to check that out.
Yep, check it out, majorwager.com. And by the way, I'm sorry, Florida fans, I got it right the first time when we talked to him at SEC Media Day. Kingsley Eguakon is how you pronounce it. So that's it. Eguakon. You got to remember that. So I did not from the first time I said it right about a month ago. And so I apologize for getting that wrong. But there are Brian's picks for the Thursday night action, as we said, really focusing on the Florida-Utah game here. So if you're an SEC fan just finding the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. A lot more stuff on the way with Brian. We do this every week, and so we'll have more of this as well. So we appreciate you watching this mini edition, and enjoy the games. And we'll be back with Brian to talk more week 1 action as well. So hit that subscribe button here at Southeastern 14.